You've lived here since the 80s, you said, I think I heard. And
Yeah.
When you packed up your bag of algebra and moved north. And
I did.
you've probably had a lot of people come visit you and stuff like that, right?
They do.
They come. I mean, when you live in Sonoma, people come visit you, right? And I'm not going to impugn the good name of Topeka, but I bet you if you moved there, you probably wouldn't have as many visitors to Topeka, although I'm sure it's lovely, right? That's what I'm trying to say. And good. So, as you know, we have 2 visitor centers. We have staff that work there. We have volunteers. People that text us. They ask us questions. You're going to help me answer some questions in a thing that we call We Get Questions.
Okay.
You haven't seen these questions?
Have not.
Okay. This is sort of like the Academy Awards or something like that, right? You haven't
Okay.
seen it. Okay.
The envelope, please.
This envelope, please. This one comes from the Sonoma Springs Facebook page. So that's a good
right.
question. And the question is, wine folks, where would you recommend wine tasting for out-of-town visitors, TIA? And I don't know if they're calling someone an aunt in Spanish or just saying thanks in advance. But wine folks, where would you recommend wine tasting for out-of-town visitors?
Wow. Well, I would always tell them to go to the city of Sonoma, of course, because you can walk around the Sonoma Plaza and there's so many there.
Absolutely.
And I was just at an opening of a new winery in the wine alley.
Yeah.
And they had sort of a open tasting thing on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just great. They're small wineries and they're, mom and pop shops, if you will. So that's fun to do. Plus, you don't have to drive. You can
Walkable.
walk.
Right, good.
And then I always tell people, go see the historic Buena Vista because it's the first winery in California.
Right,
and the thing that makes Sonoma different from all other wine country places is we're authentically historic. And other places, the wine, they may have the best whatever, fanciest restaurants, but we're actually the authentic home of wine.
We don't need a faux chateau.
No,
Right.
no.
We've got the real deal.
Yeah,
right
so
here.
go, see something historic.
Right.
Go around the plaza.
Okay.
And then find something that's like out in the country somewhere that
Good.
takes you on a nice drive
out there,
not in Sonoma County, but not in our valley. I just happened to be invited to an event last night out in Windsor, the Russian River Appalachian area at La Crema.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd never been there.
Oh, yeah.
And it's gorgeous. It's
is
your
pretty.
neck of the woods.
It is. Yeah, it's really pretty up there.
And it was so gorgeous.
Yeah.
And, but what was nice was just the beautiful drive. Mark West, Slessor
Right.
Road.
It is so pretty, isn't it?
It's beautiful.
I know. That's why I start my podcast talking about it, just because it really is. There are a lot worse commutes out there.
Right.
And so it's a beautiful, and
Right.
you're right.
So go take, and then also, I'll give a pitch for my friend Joyce Sterling, who owns Iron Horse
Good
Vineyards.
stuff. Yeah.
And if you want bubbles, it's a beautiful drive. And then when you get up there, you have the most spectacular view of all time.
It's in the Green Valley region of the Russian River Valley.
Yes.
It's so nice on the way to
Gorgeous.
Sebastopol. So, okay, good answer. All right, good. So that's pretty good. Okay, you passed that one.
Okay,
good job. You ready for the second one?
You bet.
Last Friday, I was bringing the cart in. It was around 6 o'clock. I leave the cart out. I'm still working there. And as I was going around the corner, a guy was looking up at the trees. And he was like kind of looking at it. And I said, "Sir, can I answer your questions?" And he's from Minnesota. And his question was this: are there redwood trees on the plaza? And are they redwood trees or sequoias? Do redwood trees lose their leaves? Where can we see redwood trees around here? He really wanted to talk about redwood trees. This guy was from Minnesota, very interested. So, are there redwood trees on the plaza?
I don't think so. Yes?
There's a couple, yeah.
There's a couple?
But they're not like, they've been planted there.
Right.
Okay, right. So they're not like the historic, classic Jurassic
Look
Park
at the front of
redwood trees.
Sonoma Valley High School. There's a beautiful grove of redwood trees right there.
You're right. I bet you when you used to pull up there for math class, you would.
Yeah, and it was always very important that we maintained those trees.
Yeah.
So that's a beautiful grove of redwood
spot right
trees
there.
right
Good.
there to get an example. And somebody told me something about redwood trees, and I do not claim to be an expert on trees.
You're not a
You would have to
redwoodologist?
talk to Ron Wellender, my colleague.
okay, yeah.
He knows a lot about those sort of things. But most of the water that they need, and they do need quite a lot of water, comes from like the fog and the ambient air, and not so much the water on the ground. So having the fog that we have, and when we don't have foggy days and whatever, it hurts our redwood trees.
So it's important to have fog. That's a good one. So so a lot of redwood trees. We do have some here in Sonoma. There's a couple in the Plaza, but you're right, they're not historic. They were planted by human beings. But there's groves up in Jack London State Park.
Yes.
There's groves on Sonoma Mountain. And then, as you mentioned, going to the Russian River Valley, that's where the redwood forest really takes off. Sonoma Valley, as you get closer to the bay, it's different types of soil, right? So it's different types of trees. We have oak woodlands. We have some redwoods.
Yeah, there's some, as I walk home, there are some redwoods, even in my neighborhood.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
I love them. And the answer is redwood trees do not lose their leaves. They are evergreens, right? But there's another question. He said, are they redwoods or are they sequoias? And this is a trick question.
Because I thought that is their proper name is sequoia.
Good job. See, you do know more than you know, right? So there's the coast redwood, which is what we are known for. And then most Californians will call the coast redwoods redwoods.
Yeah.
And then the giant sequoia, which is actually usually in the Sierras, we call those the sequoias. But you're right. They're both Latin terms are sequoia.
Right. It's the genus and the species of the plant.
Right. Well, okay, now you're going too far for me, but yes. And so you've answered that question. Great job. So the answer is, if you want to see redwood trees, go down to Sonoma Valley High School, go Dragons. Or
there's a lovely grove of them there.
It really is nice, actually. And if I was, some of the kids, they order from the taco truck across the street now, and the taco truck will bring the food across for these high school kids, which is really smart. They eat underneath the redwoods. I said,
Perfect.
That's better than a taco underneath a redwood tree.
Nothing.
That's right there. Okay, this one came in via email. This one's a serious mare one.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
I'm fascinated by the ducks in the plaza. There were a group of 5 misfit ducks who were always in the round fountain in front of City Hall. They've left that fountain, and I haven't seen a duck in there for at least a month. Anyway, there are a lot of ducks, but never any ducklings. Why? Predators? Duck birth control? These are emails we get.
There are ducklings.
You've seen them?
I have.
You've seen the ducklings?
Yes.
So there is not a hawk swooping down, eating all the ducklings.
There are definitely ducklings there, and the person that can find them the best is my granddaughter Sky. She is she knows where they're all. She knows how to find all of them, and so I was on the plaza with her a couple months ago, and there are certain bushes by that round fountain where they're underneath, but. Like all migratory birds, they might leave at some portion of the year, but there are definitely ducklings. Are there predators? Absolutely. We, every ecosystem has its predators, and I don't think the Sonoma Plaza, we're not like, it's not lions and tigers and bears, oh my, but there's got to be, there are things that
They'll probably get a duck or a duckling.
Yeah.
So there's not an official, as far as we know, city program for duck birth control?
Not at all.
There's no prophylaxis?
No.
Okay. That's a bad joke. Sorry about that.